romantic relationships are not intended to be self-soothing. Self-soothing relationships are bound to fail. What is a self-soothing relationship? It's really most relationships in the modern West. You see, we've been given the freedom to choose our mates instead of being in a culture where marriages are arranged as they once were. Even when they weren't arranged, you lived in tight-knit communities where people would marry someone who was very proximal to them. And parents could kind of guide that process by inviting a family over more frequently than another, because they could tell that these two kids might make a good match. So there was even when arranged marriages fell away, marriages were still quite arranged at a sort of social, cultural level. But now there's absolutely none of that, and we are just off wandering, choosing based on our own whims whom to pair bond with. And oftentimes those whims are driven by a desire to self-soothe, a desire to just feel good about myself. I mean, what really could feel better than someone of the opposite sex loving you? It is a very powerful emotional regulator. And using a relationship as an emotional regulator is a recipe for disaster. Because fundamentally, it's like taking a drug. The effect wears off. And even if you take it again with the same person, you get a little boost, but then it wears off. And eventually, the person stops even having that drug-like effect. And you suddenly think that the reason you're not feeling good is because of that person. When the truth is, you never really felt good to begin with. You were using the relationship to regulate your emotions, to regulate your ego, to self-soothe what you felt was lacking in your life. Well, how do we solve this? How do we solve this? Should we go back to arranged marriages? Definitely wouldn't produce worse results. Cultures where marriages are arranged, those marriages very rarely end up in divorce. Because you know from the get-go, the arrangement is one of service, is one of you orient yourself toward the other person so that you can both orient yourself toward the children, so that as a family you can orient yourself toward the community at large. It's a completely different paradigm, a different mindset. But here we are in the West seeking out romance like a drug, as a way to make ourselves feel good. Even if what the thing you're trying to remedy is loneliness. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. So what do we do? Do we go back to arranged marriages? Or do we grow? Do we truly grow and become more enlightened so that we can retain the freedom of choice, so that we can retain that freedom but use it wisely rather than impulsively? That's the future I would like. I don't want to give up freedom. The problem with freedom is that we all have the intellectual and spiritual development of a child being allowed to run loose in a shed full of dangerous tools. And part of us wants to shelter the child, be like, no, let's take away these freedoms from you so that you don't hurt yourself. But I'm of the opinion, let them learn the hard way. Not with actual children, but with humanity as a whole. We're not going to learn if freedom is taken away. That said, we should not allow freedom while also not holding people to account or letting them pay for the costs of their own actions. You don't give someone freedom and then shelter them from the consequences of bad behavior. Well, that's toxic. That's a recipe for a lot of disaster. No, you give freedom and you also let people screw up and deal with it themselves. You don't cover for them. It's in my opinion, the best way to grow. And so here in the West, we're paying a lot of price. We're paying a lot for our stupidity and our lack of discernment and our lack of wisdom. And one of the places where we're paying a big price is in relationships and love, because we are clueless. We don't know. We have no idea how to pick a partner. Our hands were held for so long through in-group preferences that now that we've been set loose and set free, we're tripping over ourselves. And we're trying to point the finger and blame someone, blame her, blame him. He's a narcissist. She's a psychopath. No, no, no. Make better choices. Make better choices. It's all on you. Yes, he may have been that, she may have been that, but you chose that person. You chose that person. You had a child with that person. Don't go off now and complain about the sudden lack of choices that you have because you stuck yourself in a bad situation that now, people try to run away from. It's like, no, you pay that price. Deal with the choice you made. Even if over the course of your lifetime, you will not be able to make another choice and leverage what you learned, it will enter the consciousness of your own being and your own genetic material. And that genetic influence will pass onto your children, who will hopefully themselves make better choices because you learned from your bad ones. So take some solace in that it's not a waste. It's not totally a waste. Yes, you or your life may be screwed, but I believe that passes on to greater consciousness and helps elevate humanity a little more. I think we're all leveling up. As a culture, we're leveling up. We are cringing so much at ourselves. Seeing people like Kamala and Tim Waltz prance around, shining a mirror on how pathetic we have become, is making us want to not be that. It's making us want to level up, pick up our game. Oh, no, I don't want to be that. but I am that. Oh my God, what a cringe. So we're all leveling up, and that's good. The future is brighter. I think and I hope that we've sunk as low as we can. It's only up from here. Yes, it feels dark, it feels treacherous, and that's because we are down in the mud. And we're covered in it, and only for the first time realizing that we are. We were busy pointing fingers saying, hey, you're covered in mud, and you're getting me all dirty. And we're transitioning from, wait a minute, I'm covered in mud also. I've been bathing in this stuff. I gotta get out. I gotta clean up. So much of our mental energy is devoted to projecting our own faults onto others rather than dealing with our own faults directly. And nothing exposes that to at least an external observer like romantic relationships do. You see him and her pointing fingers at each other, and you can clearly see they should really be pointing the finger at themselves. You know, something else kind of related to this that I wanted to discuss is how, because we're left to our own devices in the process of pair bonding, quite often the only barometer we use to determine who we pair bond with is attraction. And that is the mechanism that we rely on for choosing a mate. It's like oh, she's pretty. I'm really attracted to her. Oh, look at the shape of her body. It's like a tractor beam. And for women, it's different. For women, it's, look, he's attracted to me. I really admire that guy. Wow, he's really smart and he's really successful and he wants me. Gosh, I feel really good about myself. Although that is really a simplification, because women are much more complex than men when it comes to attraction. They can be attracted to a man or have a desire to pair bond with a man for a variety of reasons. And it really all depends on where she is at mentally and psychologically, and also socioculturally and practically, financially. Like, so many variables can affect the reasons that a woman might choose man A, B, or C. Men are very much more one-dimensional. Not all men, of course. I'm, sort of much more of a complex man, but I'm not common, I don't think. I think most men, it's like, I'm attracted to her visually. But I've personally felt attracted to women for so many different reasons. Yes, the visual aspect, but sometimes just the voice, just the sound of the voice. It's a beautiful voice. Or sometimes if she has a talent, she's really good at dancing, she's has a really great singing voice, or has a particular great ability with computers, that triggers my geeky side. I can be attracted for several different reasons to a woman, not just physical. But I think for most men, it's even in all those examples, it's an attraction to the person, to the physical reality of the woman that the man is attracted to. For a woman, the attraction is much more contextual and much more story-based. Status is important. But still, attraction is a terrible barometer for which to determine who you should pair bond with. Oftentimes, for instance, a woman, like, for example, if a woman feels attracted to a man, it's usually a red flag, because most men are not physically attractive or not pretty, right? Now, some men you could say are handsome and tall and fit, and you could make an argument. But what if the woman is just attracted to like someone like me or someone like you? Sorry, but I'm assuming since you're here watching a guy with a beard, you probably look something like me. That is usually a red flag, because we are often attracted to what we believe we deserve. And men are generally more narcissistic, sort of low-level, general, some might say healthy narcissism of a feeling of like, I can achieve, I can be great. There's a level of that to a lot of men, which I don't think is bad. I think that's normal. And so men generally feel attracted to beautiful women, right? Because they feel that is what even ugly men will feel attracted to beautiful women, because they feel that is what they deserve, because it relates to how competent and able they feel as a person, as a man, and what they can provide, perhaps. And if a woman feels, on the other hand, if a woman feels attracted to an ugly man, or an average man, or a man that is arguably just not attractive, why does she feel attracted to him? And let's assume that she doesn't have any contextual understanding of who he is or what he brings to the table. It's just she feels attracted to this average-looking guy. It often means that she has very low self-esteem. She has a very poor self-image. Or she deep down despises men, and therefore doesn't want to pair bond with someone that she's actually attracted to, because that would involve too much vulnerability on her part. She would rather go into a relationship from a place of control and from a place of power, rather than from a place of surrender. And so to all the men out there, if you ever have a woman suddenly just kind of come up to you and give you signals, think twice. Maybe think thrice before entering in a relationship with this woman. Because if you do, chances are somewhere down the road, she will poison pill that relationship and make it clear how she really felt about you from the beginning. And to be fair to her, without her really even being conscious of it. It's all often very subconscious, these sorts of things. So attraction and who we are attracted to is often a manifestation of our own self-worth or our own view of the opposite sex. This is why I believe women are so invested in their physical appearance, why they spent so much time in the makeup aisle trying to figure out which one of these would be better, which color would look better on me. or why their closet is so full of clothes and so full of shoes. One of the reasons women are so invested in their own objective attractivity is because they know, or at least they believe, that if they are attractive, they will attract a man with high self-worth. Because they're projecting. Women are actually projecting their own insecurity onto men by putting on makeup. Just like a woman is attracted to a good-looking man only if she feels a lot of self-worth and has a lot to bring to the table, she believes that if she makes herself attractive, she will attract a man who has a lot of high self-worth and has a lot to offer or bring to the table. And unfortunately, I don't think it's generally very true. Because I think most men, even those who have very little to offer, are attracted to attractive women. Because of this sort of low-level narcissism that is ever present in the masculine sex. Gender dynamics is so fraught with delusion because of projection, because one gender views the other gender as they view themselves. Like, I know about this tragic and sad story of a couple whom from the outside I could see what was going on, but internally they couldn't see. Where the man really just wanted a woman that was submissive, a woman that would follow his lead. And she never believed she would really have anything to offer him unless she succeeded in her career, unless she was this powerhouse of a woman and had achieved a lot of things. And so she invested an enormous amount of time and energy and money into studying and going out there and networking, and eventually the marriage fizzled out. And she finally achieved what she wanted to achieve in her career and thought that maybe then he would be attracted to her. But far from it. The more she moved in that direction, the less attraction he felt. Why would she do this? Why would she assume that the more powerful and the more successful she was in her career, the more attractive she would be to her man? Because she's projecting. Because deep down inside, she knows that she would definitely be more attracted to a man that had those qualities. Men and women can't see each other because of this blind spot. One of the ones that bothers me the most is this idea that a path to a man's heart is through his stomach, which I'm certain of was an invention of women, this idea, because nothing could be further from the truth. The path to a man's heart is through sex and through service. The one who really needs a sandwich is the woman. If you want to, if you're in a relationship and your woman is not feeling good and having a bad time, take her out to eat. Take her out to her favorite restaurant or favorite cafe and get her that sandwich she really likes. And hopefully she accepts it. Because I've noticed, especially women, get caught up in this place of not wanting to accept anything from their man because they don't want to owe anything back. but it's certainly the case that a path to a woman's heart is through her stomach. So we are bound to go astray when left to our own devices and allowing mere attraction to determine who we pair bond with. We are bound to go astray unless we grow in self-awareness, unless we grow in discernment, which is why I invest so much time and so much thought into unraveling these misconceptions, these elephants that we allow to persist in the room of our lives. I like to shine a mirror on them, because it's only through seeing clearly that we can then begin to hopefully, perhaps, make better choices. And that's my rant for the day. I hope you got something out of that. If you did, let me know what it was in the comments, or like the video, subscribe, give me a little bit of encouragement, and maybe I'll keep doing these. Thanks for watching.